You're watching Talking Points, a focus on the political scene in Lubbock and across the South Plains.
Welcome back. Here's a look at some of the top headlines of the past week. The Texas Tribune and ProPublica have released more than a dozen clips of 911 calls from inside Robb Elementary on the day of the school shooting in Uvalde. They write, this audio reveals fear and urgency from those trapped inside the school and shows just how long police and dispatchers likely knew that children and teachers were in danger before taking action. That comes as DPS Director Steve McCraw maintains his agency did not fail in Uvalde as parents of the young victims call for his resignation. You can find that full story, including the 911 calls, at texastribune.org. And KXAN in Austin is out with a major new investigation examining how survivors of violent crime in Texas have been forced to wait years for money that the state owes them. They point to high turnover and a toxic environment in the Attorney General's office, which has slowed the release of millions of dollars from the Crime Victims Compensation Fund. You can find that story, complete with months of research and interviews from inside the Attorney General's office, at KXAN.com. And also in Austin, there's mounting pressure on state leaders this week to release data about how many Texas women are dying in childbirth or shortly after. That information should have been released 2 months ago, and the state is actually breaking its own law by not doing so. KAMC's Jayla Washington shares why not having this data is more personal for some than others. And she worked to find out who can hold the state accountable to follow its own law.
Well, as you enter the south side of the Capitol on Tuesday, you see signs like these, calls to protect pregnant women by releasing the report because data saves lives. And this entire rally was organized by this lady right here. She, like many other black women, are more prone to complications and even death during birth.
Look at your sister.
McKenya Wilson has 3 kids and had complications that she feels could have been prevented had her doctors listened to her every pregnancy.
Let's look at the times that women go in and they say that they're hurting.
That's why she's here.
I'm hoping y'all have my back.
With this group using Dia de los Muertos as an emotional backdrop to their activism, honoring women who died giving birth.
I'm just gonna have to take a second because I'm overwhelmed.
Wilson, who's also on the Maternal Mortality and Morbidity Committee, shares her story.
Once I delivered my son, the medical staff gave me medicine for hemorrhaging that has a side effect of increasing blood pressure. I was already suffering from preeclampsia.
According to 2020 data released by the Department of Health and Human Services, black women in Texas disproportionately died giving birth. The 2022 data will break down now how discrimination plays into this problem, according to Representative Donna Howard.
The real message here, I think, is give us the information so we can implement things that will make a difference.
DSHS told our investigative team they need more time to interpret the information in this report, agreeing to release it ahead of next legislative session. But the state has not addressed that it's breaking its own law by not releasing data. Representative Howard and others did send a letter to the agency adding pressure to release this information sooner.
They need to be held accountable.
In Austin, Jayla Washington, KAMC News.